blessings you've showered upon us, and we pray you would grant us godly wisdom today as we make decisions for the county and the constituents thereof. We pray you would be with those that protect our freedoms, those that wear a badge and uniform, and keep us safe, and be with them. Direct us now and care for us all. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda, we have the minutes that were sent via email. Any corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Payroll number 17 for calendar year 2016 totals $209,683.49. We have claims totaling $461,410.68. Motion for the financials.
Motion to approve.
Second. And second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
0. First on the agenda is the bidding for the 2 new correction vehicles. We have 3 bids and there's 2 vehicles. So.
Okay, you have one bid for the 2000 Ford Crown Victoria from Tim Eicher for $100.
Nice rig you're operating.
And a bid for the 2004 Chevy Trailblazer from Tim Eicher for $100. Second bid for the 2004 Chevy Trailblazer from Brent J. Miller for $200.
Right.
That was the Blazer.
Correct. So the option will be to take these under advisement and bring these back at our September 6th or 5th meeting. Is it 5th or 6th? And they have to be in increments over
Increments of 50.
$50 or higher.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, we will make a decision either to sell or to extend bidding. So, very good. Thanks. Monty, you are next.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We have 92 inmates, 3 are DOC and 15 are F6 DOC. Just for your information, I plan on bringing chiller bids to the next commissioners meeting, which is on the 6th of September.
Very good.
Okay.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed, Nate, whoever. Ed first.
Good morning.
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 First thing I have in the second sheet you have for your look is my road striping map for this year. Going to do a little extra mileage. We usually do between 70 and 80. I've got about 96 to do this year. Last year we ended up doing a little bit over half the railroad crossings, so I'm going to do the other half this year. So that's going to be 16. We always do the arrows up at Norwell. So that's for your review. I did have 3 companies again give me quotes to do the road striping, and after deciphering how they sort of did them different, my suggestion is to go with Three Rivers Barricade. They're the ones that did it for us last year and did a really good job. So,
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
next thing I have, roadside mowing. We should finish today. We have about 6 or 7 miles to do yet in Lancaster Township, and then we'll probably wait till about the middle of September and do our last final one. When we do that, usually on our blacktops, we do a second pass to try to get the weeds knocked down for winter so we don't catch a lot of snow and stuff like that. But we'll see how fast it grows since we're starting to get some rains and stuff like that. So chip and seal's going pretty good. Had a few hiccups the first few days. Had a tanker that got lost. Ended up in Kokomo somehow, but pushed us back about 2 hours. But, yeah, he calls me when he gets to Kokomo. I think I took a wrong turn. Yeah, I think you did. So, still have 50 miles to go yet. We did get 700 West done. We did get 1200 South done. So them 2 projects are done as far as their chip and seals and stuff. So, just an update on the 3 projects we're doing up north. 800 North, the backhoe work's done. We put a little bit more stone on that this morning. Had a few spots on that. 950 North, we do have all the back work finally done on that. There was a lot to do on that mile project. And we're going to start the 73s on it today. 400 West, we started some of the backhoe work. We still have a little bit more to do up there, and then we'll end up covering it. So that's all I have.
All right. Excellent.
That's what I'd like to see.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Running out of things to change constantly, you know. Just to really, I wanted to make note of the community crossing matching grant. There really is no update at this point. Our applications are in, like we said last meeting. At this point, we're just kind of a waiting game until they've gone through and scored everything. I should, in theory, have some response back at the next meeting. So your first meeting in September, we should hear back, but that kind of just depends on what NDOT does. Right-of-way dedications. So you know that there's a copy of a letter that went out that was sent out to 3 property owners adjacent to bridge number 79. It's a project we're looking at doing later this year. I actually have one of the signed dedications here. This is from the Cassidy family. They came in and met with me on Friday after receiving the letter just last week. So they had a couple of questions. Deb came in and went into Beth's office to get the signatures on that. That's not sure. Is that all that they returned back on that?
Is that all you got?
That's supposedly what they left when they signed it on Friday. So did they take part of the paperwork with them?
The cover sheet.
They took the cover sheet with them, didn't they? All right.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 pages.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. So when they signed it, they took something with them. All right. We'll clear that up.
Well, I can print it out again.
Yeah.
That's the
Also,
signature prints.
That's all the signature prints for it. So they kept the copy for themselves. Is what they did. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, hopefully that won't happen again. They came on Friday when Lindsay wasn't here for us to sign it in front of us. So.
Sign it, and you'll just print out the.
I can print out the rest of the pages if you're saying
Yeah.
you saw them, or they. Well, let's see. Lorraine Medler notarized
They
it.
signed it down at the auditor's office. They didn't sign it in front of me, but they.
Okay.
So we'll clear that up.
Yeah, I can print out the rest of the pages.
Yeah. Sorry.
We need the commissioners to accept the.
Motion to accept the right-of-way agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Last item on my list here is just the AEP road closure request. Michiana Land Title, a contractor for AP, is requesting permission to close a portion of 500 West, a section between 900 North and 1000 North. The situation we're kind of back and forth on is that they want to be able to do work over a 3-month period. And they're saying, well, we only need to close the road for about an hour in 3 months. So when exactly? They don't know yet. So I wanted to make you aware of it. The plan is for them to actually close the road while they're doing a line transfer. They're going to move the wires, the conductors from one set of poles to the new poles that have been constructed. But they've got this construction window of about 3 months. They only need to close the road for an hour. They wanted to use flagmen or back and forth on that. So you just need to barricade the road for the hour you're actually going to be moving the lines. So the intent is that we'll give them a contact list. They'll give us 48 hours notice before that. That way we can contact the media and let people know that section of the road will be closed. But that's sort of a high-profile project, so they want a very large window to work all the logistics out. We just essentially need to be flexible with that. But,
Sounds reasonable.
Yep, they notify us, that's fine.
yeah, so that's, and as far as that's concerned, that's all that I have. So, thank you.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. You bet. You are next.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you haven't heard, we're having an election this fall, and we had a great response to our vote centers this primary. However, in the quest of that, we decided, the election board and myself decided that we need additional e-polls pads at 3 of the busiest vote centers. The election board met with council on August 2nd, and they approved appropriations for an additional 3 e-poll pads and the salaries to pay the poll workers. Today I'm presenting that contract to the commissioners from No Inc. It is in the amount of $4,485 for 3 additional e-poll pads. Any questions?
No, I was at the council meeting, so that's
Yeah.
exactly right. So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So one signature or all 3
Yeah,
signatures?
just one signature.
And allow the president to sign.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Chuck, you're up next.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning.
I am Chuck King. I'm here representing the Wells County Historical Society, Emily Marshall, Teresa Dussman, Wells County Public Library. If you didn't know this, it's our bicentennial year here in Indiana. The state came to each Chamber of Commerce in each county and designated them the lead agency. We are part of that committee, Bicentennial Wells County Committee. We have some requests and some information for you. This is a cooperative between several organizations, besides the Historical Society, the Public Library, the Chamber, SIOTS, Friends of Obachi, Obachi State Park, and also Ossian Revitalization. So we're going to give you some information that we have been working on for approximately a year, and then we have a couple requests.
Yeah, we just are trying to plan a countywide celebration that is going to interests somebody somewhere along the lines, starting with Ossian Revitalization's downtown celebration on Thursday, the State Park celebration. Saturday, we're going to have all kinds of activities going on, including breakfast with Santa, breakfast at the Masonic Lodge, Friend's House Cakewalk, ice sculptures, and of course the Historical Society and the Chamber.
Pardon me, this is
Yes.
December 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. So,
Yes. And the gala on Friday night. Sunday, there's going to be an Advent walk to get the Christmas holiday involved, and activities at the library, the Historical Society, the Chamber, and then we want to culminate the whole celebration for Wells County with fireworks. And that's why we're coming to you, because we want to ask.
as you can see, we have a myriad of different events planned, and we're still working on some.
Yes.
All right. My job is actually to ask for the approval. So basically, the first thing that we're asking for is that as Teresa mentioned, we are going to set up ice sculptures. We've already gotten approval from the city basically to shut off the 100 block of Market Street, and we would love to be able to have these ice sculptures. Both, they're going to do an actual demonstration carving that day, and then we are also trying to sell sponsorships for another about 10 sculptures that'll be sort of surrounding the one bicentennial sculpture that they're creating that day. But we'd love to be able to do that on the Courthouse Plaza Square. So we're basically asking for permission to use the square for that day on Saturday, December 10th, from about noon to 3 p.m. The ice sculptures themselves will be there from 1 to 3, and then the goal is that they melt on their own so that they would stay up pretty much until they melt. I mean, obviously dependent upon weather or whatnot. So that's the first official request.
So, motion to approve that we allow you to use the square during that time.
Yes.
As requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
I think, didn't Columbia City do this? Have you looked
Yes,
into that?
we have. Yep.
Yeah.
And they've contacted the chamber, and I think they're using one of the same people that
Okay.
was there.
Yeah, they
too.
had those set around the area there. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, and I think it's supposed to look kind of like a Christmas tree too when the ice sculptures are done with all of that.
We are officially going to commission 2 sculptures for Wells County,
Yeah.
and then we're hoping to sell some corporate sponsorships for the other logos, corporate, local, to go along with that as a larger display. And we also hope to have a little bit of local singing and entertainment on the plaza that day. Pretty low key, but just local entertainment.
Okay, and then the next item, obviously, is the larger one, is that we would like to have a fireworks display. We have gotten the funding for most of it from the Wells County Foundation, and we would basically like to set them off from the balcony of the courthouse. So we would like permission to use the balcony to set off the fireworks. And it's my understanding that the fireworks company, Melrose Pyrotechnics, has already come down and scouted out the location because they are also, I think, wanting to do it for street fair.
Without
So-
speaking for the Street
Yes.
Fair Association, Melanie was hoping to be here. She's obviously been delayed. I think she has spoken to 1 or 2 of you about that already. She has got a little bit further along in that process than we have. She has actually contacted several local officials, and to the best of our knowledge, everything is copacetic, approved, okay. And we just want to clone, echo, mimic the exact same thing they are doing for the exact same amount of money from the exact same place, just a different date. If you don't know, it's going to be a muted fireworks display. It's not going to be like out at this high school for 4th of July. It will be muted, will be directed out over somewhat of the plaza and Market Street, and it will be roped off. But we feel for the 200th anniversary of Wells County, or I'm sorry, the state of Indiana, It just needs to be a little bit more of a celebration. So we were hoping that we could just mimic them and follow along their lead and duplicate what they're doing at a later date.
So you're asking for clearance or money?
Well, right now, and we're asking for clearance to use the building, like the balcony, to set off the fireworks. And we're also going to need, since it's a Sunday, December 11th, which is the official statehood day, that we would need inside the courthouse for them to do the setup. The fireworks company, I think, needs 4 hours for setup time, so there's going to need to be in and out of the building a little bit to get the fireworks up there, and so on and so forth. Again, that depends on the weather a little bit too, of how long it'll take to set up. So we're requesting that. And then in addition to that, we would, if it's possible, like to request $1,000 to go towards the fireworks and other festivities for that weekend.
We just feel like it's appropriate for Wells County to have a little bit of skin in the game as far as money. We've also got some plans to do a little bit of decorating on the plaza as far as the Christmas tree. It will be more of a blue and gold theme.
For the state's colors.
State's colors. So that's the request.
Only conversation I've had with Bobby is that it was scattered out due to the fact that it's a slate roof, sandstone body. Okay.
Yeah, and I've had a conversation talking with Melanie a little bit, and I think the individuals doing the pyro work, they do the tin caps.
They do the
They
tin
do.
caps.
Yep,
Yes.
very
And
professional.
I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, and they'll be using,
that.
I think, what they call indoor fireworks, so they're
Right.
not as harmful.
Right.
Access will be that Sunday afternoon for approximately 4 hours for setup for them.
And
Yeah.
that event, we want to start at 6 o'clock on the plaza, and then the actual fireworks would be around 6:20.
So who would need to be in the building during that time to supervise?
Just Melrose, and then whoever
One
you authorize to
custodian.
open up.
Bobby or one of the two part-timers. If they could work in this.
And here again, we're just trying to duplicate what the Street Fair Association is planning. Theirs would be on a Saturday afternoon for the closing of Street Fair. Ours would be on a Sunday afternoon, December 11th.
What kind of insurance do they carry?
They carry a liability insurance, and I think I probably shouldn't. I think it's $1 million insurance, but you can put any of the buildings on it that are adjacent to it. So the county could be put on it, the city can be put on it. Basically, anyone can be put on to that insurance possibly.
They'll add us as additional insureds.
What?
They will add the county as an additional insured.
Yes, and it's covered by the fireworks company. That's part of the money that we're paying them. It also includes that insurance.
Here again, same instance, Roy, we would like to duplicate whatever the city's doing, or I'm sorry, not the city, Street Fair Association is doing along that line.
Any
Comments or concerns?
No, just no one's word's as good as their insurance.
Right.
I can only say that group's been around a long time. I do know that.
Yep.
Any comments or input from the audience?
It's better than a roller coaster ride.
What'd you say?
I said it's better than a roller coaster ride.
Yeah. The water park's like.
I don't have a problem moving forward with it at that point and then come back and talk to finances later. Unless you
So
guys
motion
are
for
all
approval today for the use of the building.
Use of the building, and then we'll revisit that for you. So,
Second.
Speaking of,
yeah, you don't, you're good.
Just pull up a chair.
I'm raining in on the parade, literally. It's raining. Excuse me. I'm trying to time that right.
I think I said everything you wanted me to.
You got it?
That was like months ago. So the motion was to approve the courthouse
Usage.
The use of the courthouse during that time and date.
And then we'll revisit
Yeah.
The financial
the
contribution
financial
later.
1,000. Okay.
And it was seconded.
No second. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
You got her? You paid my way?
Well,
Okay.
we'll talk, yes.
Can I go or?
You're done?
Actually, we're
Unless
done.
you have some more?
Yeah, I'm for street fair, but I was tagging
Oh.
along.
Yeah, we got the
for-
cart before the horse.
Yes.
Go ahead, I'm going to sit here for just in case there's any
I
further
called
questions.
Chuck and saw that he was on the agenda and said that we probably had the same thing going and needed to maybe tag together. And I have my email from Melrose Pyrotechnics so that you know that we are doing things. And this is kind of a one-shot deal for street fair, like Bicentennial. And we too want to shoot fireworks off on Saturday night, which would be September 24th, for about a 7-minute show from the courthouse, which is on the, you call it parapet, at the recorder's office, whatever that landing is, the balcony. And Melrose is, of course, fully insured, $5 million. Name county and probably name everybody there possibly is to name on their insurance. They do this frequently. They do Auburn, and they say they have $1 million cars sitting under them, so they're real careful about what they're doing. And we've had the fire inspector and we've had building inspector also present to double check to see what we're doing. And so Street Fair also wants to do this on September, and then Bicentennial follow us. But we don't want any money, so we are doing that. So we'd like permission.
So I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Look okay, Roy?
Aye.
And I'll give
It's
it.
okay to you?
I figured it was,
5
I
million
thought it was
better than
5 mil.
Yeah.
I thought
Yes.
that's where it was.
That's what we
Yeah.
assumed it should be at $5 million. And that's what Melrose says they usually do it.
Okay. You were
Does that
good.
make sense? I'm
Thank you
good.
very much.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks, guys, very much.
See you later.
It will be short, but it'll be exciting.
Monthly reports, Beth.
Let's see what I got.
I don't have anything of that. All I got is the Peterson Consulting Agreement. I emailed that to you. They are the firm that we use to do our requirement for our capital asset inventory. We keep for that we have to report once a year to the State Board of Accountants on Gateway. So we've used them for ever since I've been in office, and prior auditors also.
Is this a renewal for a
It's a
single
renewal.
year or 2 years?
It's annual. We do it annually. Yeah. So it's asking to approve the agreement again, and it would just require
Same
one
cost?
signatures.
Is the cost changed or?
The cost is $3,050, which I believe is right at, or what, if it's went up, it's only like $20 or something like that. It's right at $3,000 every year.
And have we had are there other competitors that have given us prices in the past, or
We've
are these the
not.
only people that do it?
Yeah. Well, they are AIC
Yeah,
Approved.
they're endorsed.
endorsed. That's what I'm trying to. They are
Okay.
endorsed by AIC because they do a lot of counties and do a great job. So I've not.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is that the one and only item on your list, Beth, or is there?
That's the only thing I have, except for, don't forget to ask you about the conference. I do get the little thing, if you want me to register you, that registration will be coming open soon, so let me know.
For December, right?
Yes.
It's
November,
actually the
December.
end of November,
Yeah.
first day of December.
Yeah, November 28th through December the 1st. So if anybody wants me to take care of your reservations, let me know for a reservation for the conference and or hotel.
And that was in Indy again, right?
Yes,
Correct.
it's a Sheraton, same place.
else, Kev? Tim?
I don't have anything.
No.
Audience? Open comments for the audience.
You should ask for open comments.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Come on up, Steve.
I'll tell you what. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm not as glib as some of these people in this room are, but I want to address the Heritage Farm hog operation, which is going up in my area on the county line, and I live just a half mile north of it. And as was stated in the previous meeting in this room, the fans will be venting out the north end of this building, so it's going to be coming right towards my place and other residents in Curryville, in the town of Curryville. And
Steve, can I interrupt just a moment?
Sure.
Give your name and address.
Oh, excuse me.
I'll need that for the
Sure.
record.
Steve Ashleman, 7560E, 300N, Craigville, Indiana.
Thanks.
So to continue on, we feel, and the area feels that the hog operation is going to be a nuisance to the community, not only in Curryville but Craigville, which has a residence of about 80 people, and it's going to be a problem with a lot of other things: the road, the truck traffic, just the odor itself. We feel it's going to be a problem, and the people that are putting it up are I'm sure I know they're good people, and they're going to be trying their best to control the odor, control whatever. The manure is another thing that's going to be a problem when they haul the manure once a year, they say, and they're going to haul it around our area, I'm sure, and it's just going to be a problem with the odor, and also our property values. I don't know what's going to happen with that. That just time will tell. When some people want to sell out or something, they'll find out what the property value is with that operation right next to their residence. So I've talked to Mr. Gerber and Mr. Woodward a little bit about this, just in passing, and they feel that it's probably not much that they can do anymore, and which could be true, but I say it's not over till it's over, and I know I can't walk on the water, and you guys can't walk on the water and do something maybe miraculous, but you can walk further in the water than I can go. You know more contacts and more things and more things that can be pulled out of the hat, so to speak. And I know Heritage Farm Acres have the green light for this, and I liken it to if I was going through Market and Main Street and I had a green light, I could go through that green light and I might hit some people. Would that be all right? Not necessarily, unless I was trying to get somebody to the hospital or something. Maybe then they might say, well, you got a good excuse. Well, they got the green light, but they're going to why can one entity mess it up for so many other people in the area is what I'm saying. So we in my community I didn't realize I was going to have an open mic, and I'm somewhat unprepared, so I don't want to go on and on and on either. But if there's such a thing as, if we can ask for continuance on this, where maybe somebody can say, hey, the roads aren't up to specs yet, wait till the roads are up to specs before we start construction on the hog farms, and we just have the mercy of our community on your bench. So that's all I have to say. And thanks for the opportunity, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Guess one comment I would make to that is simply that the ordinance is a lot more stringent than it was before, and it's still not probably stringent enough to protect people. So that's something that if you need to get involved, that's where we need to start, is addressing the ordinances.
Anyone else? Yep. Chuck?
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Chuck Brooks, 3098 East, 1100 South, Montpelier, Indiana. Just a follow-up to some of what Steve had brought forth. It's the commissioners are aware of this, and I guess one of the major things that I've been hearing is, how much is enough? There's a heavy concentration of CAFOs. So how much is enough? I mean, and I think what Steve's asking and what a lot of people would like is a little guidance. How do we decide, what's enough? How many more can go in that particular area or other areas? So, if anybody comes to you after the meeting, that's probably what they're going to be asking for, a little guidance on how do we determine, what's enough. And when somebody comes and says, hey, I want to put one in a mile north of this one. Well, now there isn't a saturation point. So that's the guidance that I think a lot of people are looking for, and if we can get your input on that down the road, that would be appreciated. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. Anyone else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are done. Thank you.